Boom. Waiting on Thirstin Howl. We just hit it, which classic. That was a classic. I'm waiting on Thirstin Howl. Appreciate everybody for coming through. We were mentioning when we got cut off, we were talking about some of your favorite MCs, and you mentioned Jimmy Spicer and some other guys. It's somebody particularly that I wanted to ask you about from Brooklyn. Did you have any encounters with Half a Mill?
I only knew Half a Mill through like other Lowlifes, you know, through like Rudy Lowe and things like that. That was Rudy's man. So that was my only real encounters with Half, but never really, you know, personally us two together and things like that. Just amongst everyone together, you know. And Half was the truth, man.
Yeah, that's my favorite rapper. I had to ask you about that. That's my favorite MC.
He was skilled before his time too.
Yeah, definitely. What if did you get a chance to take the Lowlife brand overseas?
Yeah. I mean, as far as other chapters and yeah, there's right now there's chapters in Germany, Mexico, Spain, France, Japan. I don't know if did you get to check out some of those videos like from my channel?
I looked at about 2 of them this morning.
Yeah, there's like 150.
It's definitely all over the place. It's all that shit spread like a motherfucker.
Where I went, even in Japan, you know, I showed the whole Low-Life community in Japan. They could compete against New York. They do it.
They don't play around. I was on an international flight in Canada, and some Japanese guys came on. They was fresh as a motherfucker. They didn't just have on low. They had on a bunch of designer, but it was very, very severe. I believe one of them had low on from head to toe, but it was very. They made an impression on me. I'm like, man, this hip hop culture is very, very severe overseas.
When I saw it with my own eyes, and I saw the biggest polo mansion in Japan that I ever seen in my life. Yo, they had a dog section. Heard me? They had a dog section in the spot. I never seen no shit like that. And I seen like vintage stores in Japan, nothing like what we have out here in America, with piles and piles of knitted sweaters to the ceiling and things like that. Like the stores are so crowded you could barely walk through it. And I'm talking about with the clothes. It's overclouded with the clothing. But yeah, life's in London, there's low life's in it's everywhere right now. The chapters are all over the world.
Is there any rappers that we all know of that you would co-sign as, yeah, he got a mean low game?
Yeah, a lot of dudes got a mean low game. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of rappers that, you know, a lot of legends that rep low lives as well. That's part of the family. You know, like you already know Sadat. You know the brother Low Sadat. Yeah. Sadat keeps that L high. You know the Beat Nuts, Juju. You know even a lot of low lives rocked with Group Home and Gangstar in the beginning of their careers. When you saw all those videos, it was full of low lives, Arch Low and everybody else from East New York, you know. But there's a lot of people. Smoke Dizza is part of the team and the family, just like Nim Low, Mayhem Friend, you know, Hurricane G. You know, it's really extensive how many people are part of our family and our movement now, because you know, we one of the biggest organizations ever in hip hop, you know, past, present, and future. You know, I always say shout out to my brother Crazy Legs, because I'm the Crazy Legs of this low life shit. You know what I mean? Like what he is for Rocksteady, because I seen him carry it on his back and make sure it never went out of style, and it lasted for generations and got passed down and all that. So shout out Crazy Legs, man.
You got this extensive bio standing in front of me. Because of this bio and all of this work that you put in for probably about 30 years, did that lead to you pretty much becoming somewhat the face of the low lives in New York? People remember you per se. The sideburns, the chin strap. You stood out. I remember when you had braids.
Yeah, yeah.
Just stand out and shit.
I mean, even I stood out in the past as well because I was the Puerto Rican, and I was that dude that I'm the one that's gonna get you. So it's like that Puerto Rican nigga. Everybody this, that Puerto Rican nigga that. So I was like one of the most hated as far as, you know, when we stepping out and we doing things, man. So
Right.
but as far as, you know, becoming the face, yeah, it's because of the work, man. It's because of me as an entertainer and what I did visually and how I carried it all over the world on my back, man. You know what I mean? The only reason, you know, that happened. It could have been anybody, man. Anybody could have stepped up and done it and been the face of this, man. But it took work, man. You had to do the work. And, you know, if you didn't do the work, then there's nothing else to say about it because the work speaks for itself. I don't have to say anything. I don't have to brag or say what my position is. My work tells you. You know what I mean?
Did y'all finish that documentary? There's a documentary clip that's been on YouTube forever, and they all screaming at the end, "The Million Man Rush." You know the one I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
The brother at the end, he say, "Ralph Lauren, I want you to know I took $1 million worth of clothes from," you know the joint I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Did
yeah.
y'all ever finish that? Did they finish that? Is it going to be completed?
There's a lot of stuff about to be completed. You know what I mean? I'm not
That's like the hottest trailer ever, and nothing came after it. When is we gonna get the steak?
You're gonna get the whole animal in a minute. Like the steak is just a piece, so
Okay.
that's all I could really say. The animal is coming. You know, so you cut off whatever piece you want off the animal because you're gonna get the full animal. Barbecue them, grill them, boil it, whatever you want. You know what I mean? Because, you know, like I said, I carried this on my back, man. My entire time being an entertainer, you know, I push lowlifes. I'm not here, you know, being a lowlife didn't blow me up as an entertainer. Me being an entertainer blew up what lowlifes is. You know what I mean? So I made it my job to make sure the world knows our story, know what we did, know how we influenced. But like I said, if I didn't have the skill or the work ethic I had, it would have never happened that way. You know what I mean? We could have still been dudes from the past. Like I tell all my low life brothers and all that, you know, we got a new generation right now. And we got several generations now. And I always tell them, yo, without these new generations, we would just be a story from the past. Yeah. You know? And that's why everybody needed to accept new people coming in. I made sure like we accepted everybody. You didn't have to be from the streets no more. Back in the days, you had to be thorough. You was getting
hold on. When I spoke to one of the guys from Philly, they were saying that Him Low, he's a rapper. Him Low.
Yeah, that's brothers.
Okay, I interviewed Him Low, and he was like, in Philly in the beginning, he was like to get any credit for wearing the shit, you had to steal it. He like when we was young, he said you actually had to, if you wanted to be low life, you had to be taking this shit. Like it was a difference.
Yeah, it was both, man. In New York, you had to be thorough. Because even if you bought your shit, somebody take it off your back. They'd take the juice. You know what I mean? They rob your crib. Dudes was robbing dudes' crib for everything. You know what I mean? Like niggas, you know.
Oh yeah. Hold on. Let me ask you about this. Was there burglaries, famous burglaries where guys, collectors amongst y'all cribs got hit?
Hell yeah.
For real?
Hell yeah. You would get lined up before. Even when you went on some of the booster missions, when you ride in the train back with your own people, they the first one step into your business for your shit. But that's how you became a lowlife. You had to stand up for your shit.
Take that pressure. Yeah.
Yep. But if you was pussy and niggas was taking your shit, and if you was pussy, you wasn't coming back the next day.
You don't need this. You don't need this. Let me get this, fam.
Me, I never did dudes like that. I was the dudes, I always defended dudes, you know, like I'm the dude that could keep everybody off of you. And so, you know, you smart to throw me a couple of items here and there because I'm gonna make Kim don't bother you. I'm gonna make sure, you know, Disco leave you alone. Cause I'm like, yo, that's my little man. Why you fucking with him? You know what I mean? But it was a lot of that, man. There was a lot of dudes going at each other, man. But that's what built dudes. Cause like I said, a lot of dudes were young. Some dudes were just coming out the house. Some dudes were 13 and 14. And, you know, some of us are 17 and 18. So you got dudes who really never been through anything yet. So these are really their first experience of a nigga pulling out a box cutter on them. Or, you know, you coming back with them bags and you got dudes jumping out of cars, pulling out on you from the other projects and things like that. All those things was going down on a regular basis. And a lot of those things turned into wars and all that, where wars began. Wars when people were dying and all of that because of this, you know?
In addition to you know, rocking that shit, was y'all getting a lot of money selling low in the streets? Like the hustlers that was getting drug money at the time, could they come get a cookie from y'all or something like that?
I mean, Lowlifes took everything. So you didn't have to be into Polo to buy from Lowlifes. Lowlifes was steaming the Sherlin stores, the leather spots. This was on regular basis. So the drug dealers was buying more of the leathers and the Sherlins for their girls and things like that. So everybody was getting money, man, doing it, you know. But taking everything, like, you know me, I'm taking cordless phones for the crib. You know, I got answering machines. Like, you go up the back with everything. I used to have some of the young dudes who used to stay with me. I'm sending them to the store in the morning to go steal a gallon of milk and a box of cereal. That's how serious it was. Yo, y'all gonna eat, right? You go get the gallon of milk. You go take the cereal. And you know, we was doing it like that. Even when we walked into McDonald's, we walk into McDonald's, Burger King, 30, 40 deep. I walk behind the counter and start handing out the food. That's how we, because, you know, who gonna stop us? It's too many. And everybody wild as hell, you know what I mean?
No doubt, no doubt. What would you say y'all was at y'all peak? Everybody was home. Everything was going great for the Lowlifes. What would you say was y'all magical year collectively?
I would say 89, right? But I would say the peak of Lowlife was 92. But, you know, as far as all the originators and all that, 89 was the year where we were mostly together, you know, and after 89 is when we all started getting sent away. You know, like everybody started doing mad, because dudes was going hard, man. Like, and it wasn't just on no boosting shit. I wasn't doing no boosting bids. My biz was for real shit, you know, wild seriousness, holding it down. So by then it started to transform. Everybody, you know, once everybody was getting locked up, all doing this, that's when new generations started to come in.
Okay. Thirstin, man, you've been great. Did you say you had a book out?
Yeah, the book Buried Me with the Low on, man. It's been out since 2016. You know, sold out everywhere. Book is probably $1,000 right now online if you're looking for it. You know what I mean?
Real?
Yeah, it's a
that
real.
That shit ain't on Amazon? Oh, you must have put them pictures in there. You put them exclusive pictures in that joint.
The book is about the culture of Lowlifes. It's not the Lowlife story from the past. It just got brief information on how it started and all that. But the book explains the culture everywhere, from Japan to, you know, the UK to Bushwick to Brownsville to Crown Heights, and it features a lot of people. You know, not only just Lowlife founders, just people from mad different neighborhoods who had influence, you know, with the Low.
Growing up, who do you recall being like some of the flyest guys that you knew personally? They didn't have to be Lowlifes, just some guys from around the way that really got fresh.
Wow, it's a lot, man. I mean, you know, Brownsville being poor and grimy, motherfuckers was fly as hell. Everybody. But, you know, like, we went out a lot, man. I would always see Jesus and Glaze and all of them. They was fly. Like, they was fly. They was heavy on the jewels. You know what I mean? Those were dudes I always seen and really, really repping, you know, but they whole game was more than just the clothes. It was the jewels, it was the cars. You know, they was getting money.
Yeah.
Like in every hood, you know, it's always the drug dealers outshining everybody. The dudes with the cell phones in the 80s and the big ropes, and you know what I mean? And the rappers, you know, Kane was going hard. Kane was on some fly shit.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of people, man. I would have to make a list, man, especially in Brownsville. You know, Oliver. I don't know if you ever heard of Oliver, the booster from Brownsville, super low. You know what I mean? He was going hard with it. He was one of them dudes that when he came through, you know, you had to be on your A game because he's shutting it down. He's flamming out of control. You know, a lot of dudes from St. John's. G. George was really hard with it. He was one of the flyest ever. You know, my dude Kaiser from Van Dyke. You know, there was a lot of dudes, man, who really stood out, man. You know, myself. You know, I definitely was coming through. Shit.
I had a sneaker battle with G George one day in the DM and shit. He's really out there. He's still strapped.
You talking about Black G George, right?
You're talking about G George, the comedian.
Yeah, because there's G George from St. John's.
I interviewed G George because G George introduced Tupac to Haitian Jack.
Yeah.
And I did the Haitian Jack documentary, so that's how I was.
I watched the Haitian Jack joint. It was. I had a lot of respect for Jack too. I remember somebody asking me to audition to play Jack for his movie. I'm like, oh yeah, Jack is a lot darker than me, man. Just because he speaks Spanish and all that, you know. But
you remember seeing him in traffic?
Huh?
You remember seeing him in passing in the streets, Jack?
Yeah, of course. Even G George. I know G George since way back in the days, man. We all Latin Quarter dudes, man. You know what I mean? All the dudes from Fort Greene and all that. So, like I said, these were a lot of dudes that I seen doing it hard, man. And even in Latin Quarters in Union Square, that's where I really learned that you had to come with 1,000 niggas, man, because it wasn't a game. I would roll to the quarters with a couple of dudes from my projects and all that. You know, this is before Lowlife.
Right.
You know, you'll see dudes from Cypress 100 deep, yapping everybody, you know. Yeah. So that was the game in New York City. Like, who's coming the deepest to the club? Whoever's coming the deepest to the club, you leaving with all the jewelry.
I asked Cool V about the Latin Quarter, and he said, he was like, that was the spot. He was like, that was our spot. He said, that's where niggas came to show off they, you know, whatever you had. That was the stage. And then I asked him about the music that they were making at the time. And he said they went in the studio, those songs like Nobody Beats the Biz and all of that shit, make the music with your mouth and shit. He said that was Latin Quarter music.
Yep.
That we was recording that shit for the Latin Quarter and shit.
Yeah. The same with Brooklyn's in the house. You know what I mean? I remember being in Latin Quarters watching Cutmaster DC perform Brooklyn's in the house. I remember him having on a 3-piece suit with a big nameplate that said Brooklyn is in the house in layers, right? And then he was the first dude I ever saw perform with the headset because he was also a DJ. He's Cutmaster DC. So he's performing the song on the 2 turntables with the headset, with the big motherfucking nameplate. The boy had like Eazy-E, and then he's cutting up the record with a basketball in one hand. Then he switches it to a fila shoe on his hand, cutting the records.
That's crazy.
But yo, even the Beastie Boys, hold it out. That's Latin Quarters music. When those joints would come on, it would get crazy. You know, Joski loved the Pee Wee dance.
Pee Wee Herman, yeah.
Yep, I remember seeing him do the Pee Wee live. You know, one of those nights as well. I seen mad dudes in Latin Quarters, and officially, even Fresh Prince used to shut down the Latin Quarters. People don't know that.
I tell people that a lot of people today, they view him as an actor. I remember when I got an older brother. I was young. I remember them when they had mixtapes in the street, DJ Jabsy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, and the dude was on there beatboxing underwater and shit like that. I remember Fresh Prince had on projects where they was like cussing and shit early in his career.
And the Annie Up of 1986, Go Stetzer. When that came, that was Annie Up back then. When that
Oh
came,
yeah,
it was a rap.
yeah.
Because that was the Brooklyn song. When, you know, when everybody said, it's Brooklyn in the house, you know, the whole crowd used to be Brooklyn. You would see a lot of dudes from other boroughs say Brooklyn. Yeah, they would act like they was from Brooklyn because, you know, oh, dude is from so-and-so or from other place. You was becoming the target, man.
Wow. Wow. Thirstin, you've been incredible, man. I got everything I had. I appreciate you. I appreciate your contribution to hip hop. I don't think I've ever seen anybody with a bio this extensive. You really, really got busy, man. Tell my viewers where they can find you at online and how they can keep up with you.
You already know Thirstin Howl the Third on Instagram. ThirstinHowl3rd.com is my website. My YouTube channel, Thirstin Howl the Third. Check out my films. Check out my over 150 music videos that Gully never watched. Check out my karate movie, Gully, Legend of the
karate movie.
It's on it. I got a real kung fu joint, and my style is this. I kill you with the L's. You know what I mean? Got a lot, man. There's a lot of work, man. Check out the book, Bury Me with the Low On. You know, check out the over 30 albums and mixtapes I done dropped already. You know, I got mad new albums coming. I'm about to start letting loose right now. The next album, Thoughts Illustrated. Wait till you hear the new Smoother Hustler banger with me and Smooth murdering it.
Yeah, I want to hear that. Yeah.
DV Alias Christ on it. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of gems, a lot of new joints. Rock Nest Monster, Booze Brothers, Master Ace.
See, I need that. I need that. I need all of that hip hop shit. I need that, man. Y'all been underserved. Y'all been underserved. We're going to get that underground tag off of y'all, man. We're going to try to take y'all pop this year, man. Let the world know about y'all.
Like I said, I'm never offended by none of those tags because I know who I am and what I do. I do hip hop style, and I'm a super diverse artist where I do Spanish albums, hard body in Spanglish. You know what I mean? I've dropped at least 4 Spanglish albums already where, you know, I'm utilizing my motherfucking flip tongue on there and showing what it is. Hard too, you know?
No doubt. You've been great, man. If you can give me a drop, man, we can get up out of here. I appreciate your time.
Love is love. You already know. Thirstin Howl the Third. You watching Gully TV. You already know what it is, man. The Polo Rican.
Peace. Appreciate you.
Love is love.
One.